Hello guys, welcome to United's glory. Can you believe it? Manchester United are going to sign a player. Donny Van De Beek is on the verge of coming to Manchester United after Ajax accepted a bid for Manchester United, approximately £40 million. A brilliant bit of business if you ask me. Now I know I've been critical with the Glazers, Woodward and the board, but I will give credit where it's due. We'll talk about that in this video. So guys, first of all, if you love talking about Manchester United, you will love this channel. Make sure you subscribe to United's glory. And if you think Donny Van De Beek is a good signing for Manchester United, make sure you smash a like on the video. So, £40 million is estimated it's €39 million up front with a further €5 million in add-ons. Of course, those add-ons are going to be there. This is Ed Woodward we're talking about. And let's face it, knowing Ed Woodward, that extra £5 million on additional clauses is probably if Donny Van De Beek wins an Oscar or something else impossible like that. Now, you could potentially call Donny Van De Beek a complete midfielder. He can play anywhere in midfield, defensively or offensively. He does prefer to play offensively, but we've seen him many times throughout his career at Ajax play in a defensive-minded role, especially against Tottenham a few years ago in the Champions League when Ajax went on that astounding run. He has got it all and he's only 23, so the perfect age for a player coming to Manchester United. Of course, him joining Manchester United means Manchester United have got a packed midfield full of talent. And I'm a bit unsure what the purpose of getting Donny Van De Beek is. By all means, I am not saying this is a bad signing, providing we do sign other players. But the position Van De Beek's come into play probably wasn't the most problematic position in our squad. Of course, we need to improve the squad dramatically, and this is a step in the right direction. And of course, we're not going to wait for us to sign other players in problem positions because we could eventually lose out on Donny Van De Beek. After all, he was a player in demand. Real Madrid wanted Donny Van De Beek before the pandemic. Given Ole likes to play a 4-2-3-1 and sometimes 4-3-3, Ole generally plays with three midfielders on the pitch at the same time. Of course, it can change here and there where he'll go for a different formation, but in general, it's three midfielders on the pitch at the same time in one of those formations, predominantly 4-2-3-1. We already had Nemanja Matic, Fred, Paul Poba, Scott McTominay, and of course Bruno Fernandes competing for those three positions. Obviously, Andres Pereira would sometimes come in as well when others were injured, but now we are on the verge of signing Donny Van De Beek. You could say we've got 6 players competing for those 3 positions, and it's 2 good players competing for each of those positions. And that is exactly what a top elite club should be doing. That's how we should be moving. So all credit to Manchester United for securing this transfer, and a player of his talents as well for 40 million is a bargain. Of course, many of us were beginning to fear that we were just becoming Brexit FC, only looking to sign English players for premium British tax prices. But finally, we seem to be going to the continent and getting a player for a very good price. Obviously, our Edwin van der Sar connections, one of Manchester United's greatest of all-time goalkeepers, working in a high position in Ajax FC is obviously bode well for us. So what are we getting in Donny Van De Beek? Well, like I said, he's a complete midfielder, mostly offensive but can play defensive. What he does have, though, is a lot of nuance. Not just on the ball, he can really pick out a pass, but he can also arrive late in the box and gets a lot of goals and a lot of assists. Of course, he is coming from the Dutch League to the Premier League, which is a step up in difficulty, but plenty of Dutch players have come from the Dutch League to Manchester United and been very successful. Obviously, we had Memphis Depay, who came recently, who didn't really succeed the way he should have done, but we're seeing how good he is at Lyon right now. Now, if you were looking at Manchester United's midfield before the announcement of this signing and you was asked to get a player, you would most likely have said Manchester United need a dynamic, combative, defensive midfielder. Of course, we do play Nemanja Matic there, who's really good at reading the game, has passing ability and a lot of physicality, but ultimately doesn't play at the speed desired when you want to go full frontal on the attack. Then we sometimes played Fred there. We played him in the Europa League latter stages, and he played very well. He was one of our better players in those latter stages, where he's quite dynamic, wins the ball high up the pitch and releases it quickly, but doesn't have that physicality and sometimes can get caught playing a silly pass. You could argue that Donny Van De Beek is the perfect mixture of the two. Obviously, there's a lot of differences between his game and their game, But, he has the physicality. He's a big boy. He's 6 foot odd, and, he can really find a pass. He can make tackles as well. And he's clever with those late runs in the box, something that I don't think Paul Pogba's particularly good at despite his wealth of abilities. And we are most likely going to be seeing him play in the double pivot with Paul Pogba, with Bruno Fernandes ahead of him. Now, it's not necessarily that he's going to be playing every game. I don't imagine he's going to walk straight into the Manchester United team, especially a team that's doing pretty well at the moment. But, given the amount of games that we're going to be playing next season, he's going to get a lot of game time. And of course, if his abilities shine through the way you would expect them to, you can see him getting in the team more often than not. Now, obviously, playing him, Pogba and Bruno in the same midfield is going to be quite an offensive team, which is exactly what we like to see at Manchester United. We're all about attack, attack, attack. And I think I can see Ole's thinking with this transfer, because when teams come to Old Trafford, or even away, when teams play 2 deep banks of 4 and try and catches on the break, we really struggle to break them down. We've got a little bit better at it, but obviously we need a bit more nuance when breaking these types of teams down, and Van De Beek certainly gives us that. What this does potentially do is rule out a transfer for Jack Grealish from Aston Villa. However, with the muted 80 million, then you have to look at Van De Beek as being a far better option. Not only is Van De Beek proven at an elite level in the Champions League, unlike Jack Grealish, it's half the price for a player that's arguably better. Now, I have no problem with us signing Jack Grealish, even before I've stated we should sign not just one of these players, but both of them, and Jack Grealish should be competing for a position with Marcus Rashford. After all, we do need 2 class players in each position if we really truly want to compete for the Premier League title next season. This transfer, however, does seem to rule it out, considering Manchester United are being very ponderous with their money in terms of signing the likes of Jadon Sancho, looking to save money wherever they can. Now, I did make a video recently slamming the ball for taking so long to get transfers in, and of course, this deal has taken a long time, and there's a lot of reports saying Manchester United have done extensive scouting on Van De Beek. What extensive scouting have they been doing, and why has it taken this long? Van De Beek's abilities have been on a world platform for all to see for a few years now, so I'm not buying that reason. I just believe that they've put themselves out there in the transfer market and looked for the best deal for the best price. And at half the price, I do agree with them going for Van De Beek over Jack Grealish. Not that, like I said, I won't mind Jack Grealish in addition, but ultimately, that looks off the table now. This also is only going to be a good transfer if we get other players in, because he isn't coming into a problem position right now. We need a right forward, which hopefully will be Jadon Sancho before the end of this transfer window, and potentially a centre-back. I personally would have put those at a higher priority than a midfield player, but let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section. Finally, we seem to be on the verge of signing a player, and I'm absolutely delighted and welcome Donny Van De Beek to the club. It is a step in the right direction. Good age, good technical ability, the right kind of player, the kind of player Manchester United should be looking for. And finally, we are not getting ripped off. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like button if you think Donny Van De Beek will be a good player for Manchester United. Until next time, talk soon.